Hello, my friends, and welcome to Kitsune Readings, where your questions find answers.
Hello everyone, Ryu here. Today we're going to talk about an Namco arcade game that led to the creation of games like The Legend of Zelda and YS. And it's called the Tower of Druaga. The priestess here is kidnapped by a demon called Daruga. Well, actually, she was sent by a goddess to recover a crystal rod, and she's a priestess, but ends up getting captured by the demon here. Prince Gilgamesh wears golden armor and attacked by monsters he's helping Key and the Tower of Druaga. So, the god that gives him this armor is called Anu, which was from Anunnaki. Now, the Anu, or Anunnaki, are interesting because I think it was Zacharias Stitchin, Chariots of the Gods. And he says that Anunnaki means those who from the heavens came. That is not a correct translation. It means of royal blood are those of royal blood, not from the heavens came. There's quite a few things he got wrong. In fact, I don't know if it's still up, but there used to be a website called stitchiniswrong.com. Anyway, not related to the game. Just some interesting lore on Anu, or Anunnaki, who were gods of an ancient civilization. Anyway, they're always depicted with wings in ancient artwork. But there's 60 floors. Now, this game had a lot of hidden areas and items, and there were no maps or anything. No hints, lots of cryptic secrets said to have a brutal difficulty. It wasn't really that big. It was obscure in the West. It was a massive hit in Japan. And there was even a community of players who used notebooks and magazines to share secrets and tips with each other. So it was a really interesting game. In 1985, for the Famicom, it did get a console release, and the NES in America, I believe, got a release of this too. It also released on the MSX, the Game Boy, the PC Engine, also known in America as the TurboGrafx 16, and you can find it on some modern platforms today. We're playing it on the arcade hack on the Nintendo Switch. It's actually in the Nintendo Switch online. You can play the NES version. Maybe I'll do a video about that version of the game too. But this game was actually fairly popular in Japan, but at the time it was released, more obscure in the West. This came out, I believe, in 1984. We got slimes here. The music is pretty cool. I like it. Oh, we died. I think okay. How to find. Defeat 3 slimes. Get a copper pickaxe. So, now you can get hints in the arcade pack version, which is pretty cool. You can see the maze here. We're gonna have to go up and around. Aw, we didn't get the treasure. Find jet boots. Alright. Well, we got an error. Okay. Let's restart the game. The game crashed on us. Terrible. I was just gonna reboot the game. I would recommend the Namco Arcade Pack, by the way, because it gives you the arcade games, and you can own them physically. And the arcade versions run off a MAME emulator, MAME, and they're hard to find today. Experiencing arcade games outside of emulation is rare, which is why I like that they make these arcade collections. Especially Splatterhouse, that game's awesome. But anyway, we're here to talk about the Tower of Druaga. Alright, so we use our sword to fight 3 slimes, and then the treasure chest should appear. There it is. Now we get the copper pickaxe that lets us go through walls. So we can smash through walls now. I guess we can't break all the walls. Now we get the key and we go to the next floor. Let's add more coins. Now, because this is the Namco Arcade Pack, we can press the button X to look at hints. Jet boots defeat 2 slimes, 2 of the dark slimes, and we can get boots that increase our movement speed. I think the music is pretty good. It's interesting to think that this game inspired YS and the Legend of Zelda. And perhaps a few other games. This was an arcade-style RPG. And this was unique and rare to see at the time. I love sharing classic arcade games with you guys. They're unique and interesting to see. Oh, wrecked. Well, I was hoping we'd get the jet boots. But apparently, we have to be careful about how we hit the slimes with our sword. Oh, dead. Game over. Perhaps I have to swing the sword that way, as opposed to just leaving the sword out. So, we want to kill 3 slimes, and, get the copper pickaxe. We have a time limit, as you can see in the lower right corner there. And we don't want to exit the level until we get the copper pickaxe, which is down there. The treasure will always appear in a random location, and the maps, as you can clearly see, are randomized. So terrible, we probably won't even get past the 2nd level. But, this is what early games looked like in the 1980s. Uh-oh, we got things coming after us. Oof, we made it. Ah, wrecked. And trying to beat those dark slimes is hard. But we want to do that to get the jet boots so we can get increased speed. I would say this game is fun and worth playing today, to be honest. I spent a lot of time with my brothers in the arcades playing games like this. Oh, wrecked. And we can't win. Alright, maybe I should just leave the sword out. Let's do this. I'll have to look up tips on how to play this. I'm so terrible with the game, I really show off its brutal difficulty. Still, it's a fun game, and it's interesting to look at a game that predates games like Zelda and YS. Okay, we took out 2 dark slimes. There's our jet boots. They appeared. We'll go grab those real quick. Then we'll get out of here. Yeah, look at that. Uh-oh. Alright, we need to go get the key. Uh-oh. Oh, wrecked. Game over. So trying to get all of the items is very difficult. I thought this would be a fun game to share with everyone today. Sorry the arcade pack crashed. Still a great game. I think it's worth trying to play today. I like being able to own these in the physical sense. I like being able to play them without having to hunt down ROMs and emulators. Hydlide was the other game I was thinking of, and this is the first game in the entry in the Babylonian Castle saga. So there is an anime or animated series that came out later as a result of this game too. So there's a lot that happened with this game. Find keys, navigate mazes, and there's a time limit. Timing and positioning are essential to combat, as we learned with my consistent failure to beat the slimes. But anyway, this is the Castle of Druaga. This game came out in 1984 and was published by Namco. That's all the time I have for today, my friends. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. I appreciate all of you watching the videos. You can and you will achieve your dreams, my friends. I believe in you. Have a great day, everyone.